I want us to just take a quick look on how we can visually represent multiplication of fractions and whole numbers using a bar model. So what we've done in class is we were typically talking about groups of a fraction, which works great when you are multiplying by smaller numbers and you can draw out the group. So for example, like 2 times 3/5, you can draw out two groups of 3/5 fairly easily. But it becomes a little bit more problematic when we start talking about larger numbers. So that's kind of the focus of what we're going to be looking at today. So just briefly, I have a problem here. If Sonia earned $225 by raking lawns this fall, and she wants to put 3/5 of her money into her savings, we want to know how much money she is saving. As we kind of look at this, what our problem really becomes is we want to know what is 3/5 of $225. That's the question that's essentially being asked here if we take out all of the extra fluff, because that's the amount of money that she is putting into her savings. As we're looking through this, the stuff that we did last time would have been like 225 times 3/5, but I don't want to draw out 225 groups. So I want to look for more efficient strategies to doing this, because that of really is the same thing as taking 3/5 times 225. The first strategy that I'm going to introduce you today is just called the bar model. So what I'm going to do is, if we think about our bar, which is just going to be this big huge box, is going to represent our whole. So in this case, the whole represents Sonia's earnings. So in this case, the entire thing is worth $225. We know that we want to find 3/5 of it. So I'm going to take, just like we did last time, we want to think about that 5. That denominator is telling us how we are splitting up our whole. So here I'm going to take this and split it into 5 different pieces. Now what's different here is when I shade in these 3/5, so here's 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, it's a little bit different because I want to try and think of these as what I did. So here, if you're thinking through and kind of just looking through the problem, I'm going to kind of shrink this down just so I can add some more space. What I've essentially done is I've taken the $225 and I've split it into 5 pieces. So I'm going to take 225 and I'm going to divide it by 5. And when I do 225 divided by 5, I find out that each piece, or each fifth, is worth $45. So now what I can do is I can fill in each of these pieces to represent the $45. If I took 45, multiplied it by 5, I would end up back at our $225 that she earned. If I look at this 3/5 then, this represents what Sonia wants to save. So in this case, it's going to be 3 pieces that are each worth $45. So if I do 45 times 3, it ends up that Sonia is saving $135. So 3/5 of 25 is equal to 135, or that's the amount of money that she would put into her savings.